because there was no smoke for Baldur's Gate. That was the gayest fucking game of all time. You could be non-binary, slinging dick, fucking goddamn bears and shit, and everybody loved it. How? How can you be a fully fledged adult human being in the year 2025 and get your outrage notes from an outrage merchant who is balding and has an avatar of a balding fucking maid who hasn't ever made a fucking successful video game on his own? He's a scammer. You're a fucking moron. You're even a bigger loser than the 60-year-old who's constantly talking about how video games are woke and gay now. Imagine getting your nose from a 60-year-old man who's constantly chirping about video games, dude. God, you are so fucking pathetic. You are such a goddamn loser, and you know it. That's the other thing. You know you're a fucking loser. You know you are a fucking ginormous loser, and you got no motion in your life. So anything you like, you spend every waking moment trying to fuck up other people's lives. That's all you do. All you do is run around and try to ruin other people's enjoyment, ruin other people's fun. Oh my God. Go to the gym, dipshit. Go fucking work out. Fix your life.
A trans person, shut the fuck up. Either play the game or go the fuck outside, bro. It's not that hard.
Thank you. Yes.
God damn. I've been on this earth 37 fucking years. When I was a kid, guess what? If a game came out and I didn't want to get involved with it, I didn't fucking play with it. I didn't go on the internet and cry like an entitled little child, wah, 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 wah. The game doesn't have stuff that I want. So shut the fuck up and leave, bro. Are you that much of a fucking loser that you're seeking out streams of a game you don't like just to be like, wah, I don't like this. There's a black guy. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's all. This is the only rant. I'm getting this shit out of the way now. Stop. Because any comment, any fucking comment, I'm just going to ban you. I don't care. I'm just going to fucking ban you. I don't care. I don't have time for it, bro. I'm here to play a fucking game, not listen to you cry about a black dude that existed in history that was brought over to Japan as...
Yeah, ironically enough, Assassin's Creed is historical fiction. And until this game, you've never actually played a real historical figure. That is the inherent irony here as well. Every other game, you play around historical figures, which you can, beat the fuck out of, obviously, which is, not what happened in history. Like, there was no fucking Leonardo da Vinci flying machine that you could actually fly in, right? Nobody complained about that shit. That was awesome, because I guess he wasn't black. What's hilarious about it is, like, this is the one time where you do actually play a historical figure, ironically enough. Fist fighting the Pope, I'm fine with that. That's historical fiction. That's appropriate. Black guy that actually existed in Japanese history? Oh, absolutely not. Why would you let me play this?
As a slave and then taken on by Nobunaga and made a fucking retainer, all right? If that upsets you, if that makes you not feel like you're in your special place, that's not my fucking problem. Go talk to your therapist about it.
It's so annoying. It's so fucking annoying. Like, this is the type of shit that I expect from babies, okay? From a child, This is the type of shit that children do. And now we have mentally and emotionally stunted fucking adults that have been babied their whole goddamn lives. And they're sad, and they're whiny, and they're annoying, and they never shut the fuck up. Oh my God. And it's a cycle that they desire too. Like, they want any kind of fucking reaction they can get out of it, where they lose their minds. They're like, oh, like they misinterpreted a LDP Japanese politician who's an upstart trying to fucking make a name for himself, which ironically I mentioned as well to the JCP guys when I was there. Remember when I talked to the Japanese Communist Party? And I was like, does our brain rot actually make its way to Japanese politics and actually impact Japanese politics? It turns out, yes, it does. That was my suspicion, and apparently that is the case. There's a dude in the LDP named Kato, okay? He's trying to make a name for himself. And in the process, in a Diet session, he gets up and he talks about Assassin's Creed because he's seen so many people on Twitter talk about it. Japanese people love Twitter. They use Twitter quite frequently. It's more popular in Japan than it is in America per the population percentage. Like, there's more active users in Japan on Twitter in comparison to the rest of the Japanese population than there is in the United States of America in comparison to the United States population. Okay, so he comes out in a Diet session and he brings up the Assassin's Creed thing, and the Prime Minister responds to it, and in the response he basically says like, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Our concern is that maybe people will get their notes from the game. You can deface Japanese landmarks in virtually every fucking video game, by the way. It's not new. The Prime Minister basically says, we hope that we take it very seriously to deface our real cultural landmarks in the real world, not in the game. And we hope that people will not do that. We hope that people won't try to like scale the walls and do parkour on our fucking shrines and shit. That's it. And you know what's interesting? Ubisoft patched it out immediately on the day one patch. But it didn't end there. Every single disgusting Angloid piece of shit with a lolly avatar fake Japanese account that LARPs as a Japanese teenager online, and there are many accounts like this. There are so many people that have ironically never even been to Japan. They just live in like England and they LARP as though they're Japanese conservatives in English. Every single one of those accounts mistranslated the Prime Minister's statements to make it seem like Japan was taking a strong stance against Assassin's Creed Shadows. And these fucking tweets have thousands of likes. Thousands of likes. Because nobody fucking cares about the truth. I'm losing my mind, okay? I'm losing it. It's something so innocuous and so marginal and so inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but it still pisses me off because it goes along with the broader trends that I see all the goddamn time all around the internet. Here's what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Where is it? Yeah, around and to find out. Tomorrow, Japan, Mr. Hiroyuki Kata, a member of the House Councilors from the Liberal Democratic Party, will address the AC Shadows issue in the national diet. This will be broadcast nationwide as well as live streamed. Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, they have literally invented a completely alternative reality, and they think that this reality is where like the Japanese government is genuinely fucking mad. They think you're defending it because you took the ad? I know. I don't care. I don't care that they're fucking thinking that. I hate people who lie like this. I hate it. I hate it so much. It might be a little bit neurodivergent to me, but when I see something like this, I can't let it go. It makes me so mad because I can't stand how fucking stupid people are. I can't stand it. It's like they just, and then that lie materializes and turns into this like this thing that can actually impact the real world, like developers getting harassed as a consequence of this. Like, that shit pisses me off so much. I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah, it's so funny how Assassin's Creed has never been anywhere near historically accurate, but this is the first time there's a black guy. Everybody turns to the anthropologist. You fist fight the Pope in these games. Yeah, a black samurai with a relationship with a non-binary person. Yuck. And it's like, you don't need to do this. This is your own personal choice. Except I know for a fact you didn't even you ripped this video off of someone else. Someone else who's also an outrage merchant. You know, because I know you didn't play the game. I know you didn't play the game. You're just an outrage merchant. You will never play the game. You probably don't even like video games. But if you did, you would know that you press the buttons to get to this option. You press the buttons. There is literally a fucking canon mode where you don't have to make any of these choices if you don't want to. You don't have to anybody as Yasuke if you don't want to. You chose to rizz up the fucking non-binary person, and now you're mad that you can do it. You didn't accidentally arrive at the sexo run. You chose it deliberately, and now you're mad that it exists. Yeah, this is the guy I'm talking about. Colonel Otaku Gatekeeper. Educating Westerners on Japanese politics and gatekeeping anime and manga from censorious Puritans, Japanese nationalists, anti-communism, Shintoists. He's not even fucking Japanese. He's never been to Japan. Many such cases. There are so many Ian Miles Chongs now online, and it's very frustrating. It's a unique phenomena. It's very strange. Back in the day, you just had Ian Miles Chong, who LARPs from Malaysia as a guy who lives in Portland, Oregon. He's never stepped foot in the United States of America. Okay? Everybody knows his background. These guys now are all anonymous accounts, and they act like they are Japanese right-wing nationalists. This dude is a pedophile living in the UK, okay? It's so fucking annoying. You were talking about confirmation bias and you pulled this dumbass to represent anyone offended. So are you saying people aren't offended about the game? What is the lie? If you're offended by this game, if you're offended by another installation in the Assassin's Creed franchise, okay, you are a pathetic, weak loser. I'm telling you right now, you are the biggest fucking loser of all time. And under normal circumstances, you probably would not have gone this far in your life, okay? It would have ended a long time ago if that was a real thing. I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying that people who are, okay? Nobody is forcing anyone to play the fucking video game. I'm angry, especially because, wait, what is this?
Do you remember when you first got into anime? You knew something was different about it. It was not like other cartoons.
Is he trying to do a fake Japanese English voice? Oh my God.
It was ambitious in its storytelling. It was detailed in its visuals. It made the other cartoons look silly by comparison. Eventually, you'll find that these shows...
Dude, I can't. It's so hard for me. It's so hard for me to not use some of the previous tokens that I've collected, because we unfortunately still don't live in a world where you have kill yourself tokens. Okay? Because if we did live in a world where you could get kill yourself tokens whenever someone sent one to you, I would be using so many. Okay? And because we don't live in that world, I can't use the kill yourself tokens, and therefore I can't cover the story with the real feelings that I have in my heart. You know what I mean? It's genuinely, this is one of the hardest things. It's genuinely one of the hardest things where I have wishes in my mind, I have passion in my heart, and there's no way for me to openly communicate how I feel about this. You know what I mean? There was a time and place when people used to fling the R word freely, okay? And I feel like in that time and place, and maybe even use gay as a pejorative or the F slur as a pejorative. And I felt like in that time and place, that bullying that came along with it kind of kept these motherfuckers at bay. Not saying that that was the only thing, but like clearly there was a point where these dudes were kept at bay. I don't know who or what was doing that. Anthropologists are going to come back and look at this time and space and find out maybe bullying wasn't bad, because there was shame. People had shame. This is shameful shit to openly do a political movement around Stellar Blade not having the same 56 outfits that it had pre-first day patch is a shameful thing. It's the type of thing that even if you felt in your mind, you're supposed to immediately squash it. You're supposed to be like, I shouldn't be thinking this way. What am I, a weird, psychotic sex pervert? Like, no, I shouldn't feel this way. This is embarrassing to feel. I should stop feeling this way. This is what you were, at a certain time and place, this is what you were supposed to do. If you had like a weird, intrusive thought like that, you were like, what did I just think? Gross. Now, this is at the forefront of people's political activism, okay? Like if your first thought, when you see the new Assassin's Creed game featuring Yasuke, a black character, and a woman, and you're like, oh, dude, this shit sucks. Why is there a black guy as the main character? If you genuinely feel this, okay, you should be embarrassed to say it out loud. I can't stop you from feeling that way, but oh my Lord, this is one of those things that you should feel great shame for even thinking, let alone saying out loud. And now people are rewarded for saying it out loud. People are rewarded for saying it. And it's just like, it shocks me to my core, because I feel like if you said these things in the real world around other human beings, they'd be like, what the f are you saying? Unless you're at a fucking clan meeting, and in which case they would still probably be like, who cares about video games, dumbass? You know what I mean? Like, there's no outlet for this kind of behavior in the real world. This is the only place where you can get mad about something like this and be rewarded for it. It's wild. That's what shocks me to my very core, is that these guys get their notes, once again, from a genuine fucking loser, okay? A guy that is 60 years old who said he wanted to make his own video game and has failed spectacularly at making this video game. He has not been able to successfully make it. It's a Gundam style game. I didn't even need to know about this dude's existence, and now I know because he's an outrage merchant that other people actually follow on. And then guys like Asmongold will hype this shit up. They'll just sit there and farm it, knowing full well that they're farming. Knowing full well that they're farming these fucking dumbasses. I saw something funny though, because Asmongold, I think, also started playing it, and he liked the game, and his audience wants him to hate the game. But after he farmed it over and over again for all of the controversies, it turns out he likes it now. Look at this video. It's only 11 seconds, but here.
Yeah, sure, I'll beat the game. Why wouldn't I? Don't force yourself to? No, I'm not. I've been enjoying this. I've been enjoying this. Do you plan on beating Shadows?
Didn't Ubisoft lie about the historical black samurai? I thought it wasn't real after all. No, it is a real person. What the f? No, Yasuke is a real historical figure. He was a retainer for Nobunaga. It's a real thing. Ironically enough, even if he wasn't, who gives a shit? But he is real. That's what makes it even funnier. Props to him for not fake hating it. That's props to him. He farmed it for months. What the f are you talking about? No. I thought you were being hyperbolic when you said these fellas would get mad because there's a black character. I didn't think you were being 100% genuine. This is wild. Oh no, I'm unfortunately, I hate to report this to you, but yes, I'm being very sincere. These guys are genuinely fuck. They say the wiki page was fake. What? Yes, in many vids. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, I swear to God, it is. People are violently stupid, bro. Asmon is just on basic grifter who would never see any of his own grift through unless it involves deplatforming someone. No, dude, the funniest part about Asmongold is he often will cop to it. Asmongold will routinely cop to him just straightforwardly not saying his true opinion. There is a honesty in the way that he does the grift where he'll just be like, yeah, I don't care, it's popular. And the dumb still eat it up. That's how this works. That's how right-wing commentary works in general, where you can just basically say, I'm lying to you. It's like cryptocurrency schemes. You can have a cryptocurrency shitcoin called griftcoin or shitcoin, right? And people will still buy into it. It's similar. It's a similar dumbass mindset that people have. It is literally the same mindset where people are like, oh, am I being grifted to by this guy who doesn't have a genuine take on this issue? Well, as long as he's repeating the talking points, I'll still keep consuming it. What is this?
Hey dude. Ew, are you playing Assassin's Creed 3? Yeah. This game is an insult to the history of the American Revolution by not making the main character English. This is just more woke DEI garbage being pushed down our throats.
So you would want Connor to be white instead?
Yes, that would be more historically accurate.
But there were a few Native Americans who fought on both sides.
That's just obvious pandering.
Well, Assassin's Creed has never been historically accurate. It's been more so historically inspired. No one complained when Ezio fought the Pope in the Vatican, which obviously did not happen.
Right, but that's not about
race. So the only time that we complain about historical inaccuracy is when race is involved.
But
or how about when Ubisoft tried to be more historically accurate by giving Altair a Middle Eastern accent in Assassin's Creed Revelations and got criticized for not keeping the American accent from Assassin's Creed 1? Seems like there's some double standards going on.
Whatever. I'm gonna go watch more Asmongold.
Are we sure he's just not a flesh suit stuff with roads to control it? I don't know. There's zero proof that an assassin didn't fistfight a Pope historically. True. He did a video about this, chat. He did. It's wild how the right is just the annoying SJWs of yesteryear. I remember these exact rants, except from those who woke scolded random people for playing problematic games. Girlfriend reviews had to make a public apology because she didn't enjoy Last of Us 2 because Radlibs called her a bigot. Like, what is this shift? I think it's crazy because, like, Radlibs have definitely aggressively pursued certain things, and they still do to this day. It's not like they stopped doing that shit, right? Having said that, more often than not, the woke SJWs were at least like advocating for something that made sense. Like their underlying position is not entirely incorrect, right? Their advocacy and their activism was idiotic and incredibly stupid and worse than all, very annoying, okay? Very, very annoying because it's all immaterial bullshit. But at least it was, one, consistent, and two, it was on issues like systemic racism, which is real. That's a real thing, right? Systemic racism is a real problem. You're not tackling systemic racism by complaining about a video game that doesn't have, like, sufficient representation. You're not. You're just being annoying. These guys, on the other hand, are like, no, we want less representation. So they're both on the wrong side of an argument and also arguing about something immaterial and crying about it. It's like a triple whammy. It is just so mind-boggling to me. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. The premise of Assassin's Creed is that aliens uplifted monkeys to be human slaves with mind control tech. You killed the Pope in a battle where you used the alien mind control tech to do shadow clone jutsu. Oh yes, the immortal is your father, Pythagoras. You were led there in part by conversations with your best friend, Herodotus. And you were part human, part alien, which led you to access the city. In 1830, you played as a white guy, Desmond, reliving the memories of a white guy, Hatham, and his bastard half-Mohawk, Connor. In it, the American Revolution is being controlled by two factions, the OG Illuminati fighting over the control of alien artifacts. You have to grow up. Yeah, besides the central thread in the in-game universe, that's why you get a blade pistol and a tank bomber from Da Vinci, because of a commitment to historical realism. I love Assassin's Creed, clearly, but you're huffing sewage if you think there's any fidelity to history in these video game series. You don't play this game as it's historically accurate. You play it because it's an open world simulation with historical skins. There is exactly one game where you play a character who actually existed. Does anyone want to guess which one that is? It's Yasuke.
Enemy field upgrade. Totally.
Lock down A. Take it B. Lockdown. Dig in and hold them. TACOM, launch counter UAV. We're losing Charlie.
Using lead.
Lost Charlie.
Capture injected.
Tack off. Get a care package on my grid.
Molotov.
The don't get cocky. This shit ain't over.
Here's Steve Bannon. I want to say it was 10 years ago. Maybe it was even more. There was a right-wing talker named Michelle Malkin. I don't know if she's still doing anything. I haven't heard from her in years. I think she even had a book that was basically espousing the
Perfect execution.
the wonderfulness of Japanese internment. Maybe is she still on?
She's still on social media sites, it looks like.
And I think she just got a little bit less. People are slightly embarrassed by that. In defense of internment, and that was back in 2004. This is like when we were at peak. Yeah. And now, and that put her in many respects in the sort of the cuckoo column.
Conservatives are like, let's invite her to everything, please.
But apparently now it's just sort of mainstream. Like, of course, we were going to intern Japanese American or American Japanese citizens, I should say. But here is Steve Bannon. It was just we figured we could just pull the trigger on this.
All-out war and the other line of work, of deportations, President Trump finally had enough of it. Aliens, Enemies Act of 1798. President John Adams, this is about the French, this kind of fallout from the French Revolution, of cracking down here, didn't want us to get sucked into European wars. That sound familiar? And they passed this act. President Trump used it. It was the same act to do to deter or do the internments, I guess, of the Japanese after Pearl Harbor. Always very controversial, although there was a lot.
Not just the Japanese, the Americans.
Right.
It was not the Japanese. We were not capturing prisoners of war and interning them in camps. It was Americans.
Japanese Americans. Yeah. Well, they don't count to Steve Bannon. Also, the aside of sound familiar about getting sucked into European wars, dude, what does that have to do with Ukraine? What does this policy have to do with Ukraine? Like, what connection are you making there? The targeting of mostly Latino immigrants, and also anybody that dissents on Palestine that may have some sort of Middle Eastern background. What connection are you trying to draw here with Ukraine and basically the War of 1812? It's so clumsy and lazy.
To deter or do the internments, I guess, of the Japanese after Pearl Harbor. Always very controversial, although there was a lot that they don't talk about today. There was many voices saying that should have happened after Pearl Harbor, given the fact that we didn't know what the hell was going on. Mike Davis.
We didn't know what the hell's going on. I mean, well, even if you, in his God knows what substance-addled mind, can justify putting Americans in camps because they're of Japanese descent during, in the wake of Pearl Harbor. What is it that we don't know what the hell's going on in this country that supposedly justifies it?
I don't know if he's doing it purposefully, but that was Trump's opening line after coming down the escalator
100%.
about we've got to, until we can figure out what the hell is going on.
What is it that we don't know? What the hell is going on?
We know that immigrants commit crimes at a lower rate than regular Americans.
We know they add something like $26 billion into our Social Security system over the years.
Yeah, and they don't get the benefits that citizens do if they are full citizens and have documentation. Yeah, it's just ethno-nationalism, and I'm sick of hearing just because he has some kind of pseudo-populist messaging. Like the idea that Gavin Newsom had him on his show, and I haven't listened to the interview, but if it's anything like the Charlie Kirk thing, it's basically Gavin Newsom conceding every point to the right. Steve Bannon is the moderating force right now, really, in the Trump administration for some of this stuff, trying to get Elon Musk out. But that is an indictment on how far this administration is. Like in 2016 or when he came in 2017, there was Reince Priebus, there was Rex Tillerson. These people are awful, capitalist Republicans, but they're a little bit more attached to the shared reality that we all experience. These are the freaks that are in this administration. We're hoping that Marco Rubio will put the brakes on something, and he's retweeting Bukele as they shave the heads of prisoners and put black hoods on them, sending them to a penal colony in El Salvador, a black site that's even worse than what we could do at Guantanamo Bay.
Go ahead. No, good. Bannon's a big phony, and the funny thing is him citing John Adams goes against his whole core brand proposition, which John Adams was the oligarchic guy.
Right.
Thomas Jefferson and Madison were the sort of populisty guys. And Nathan Robinson points out, and I'll quote this from the Brennan Justice Center, I think, the leader of the political opposition, Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, fought back, arguing the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions that the act violated the First Amendment's protection against free speech and a free press, because talk about the whole France stuff going on there. Jefferson was more sympathetic to the French Revolution than someone like John Adams was. John Adams wanted a king. John Adams was more of a sort of founder who liked the centralized power, and so it's very funny for Bannon to throw his entire posture over, which is all it ever is, because he's not actually.
He didn't even know anything about this. He didn't know anything about this.
And he's not actually against Musk either. All this stuff, Bannon is is a performer, performance
He
artist.
is, yeah. And I think he's like a little bit sad that he went to jail for Daddy Trump, but he's still not in the inner circle, and Stephen Miller is doing his thing. But it is funny that he makes that. They were arguing, Levitt said at the briefing, that because the French made some joke about how the Trump administration should return the Statue of Liberty, and Levitt was like, well, the only reason you're not speaking German right now is because of us. Give me a break. The only reason we're not still a British colony in many ways is because of the French helped us out in our revolution, and then maybe we somewhat returned the favor by being Johnny-come-latelys in World War II. It was the Soviets that lost tens of millions of soldiers fighting the Nazis and was responsible for killing a significant majority of the Nazis in World War II. So it's just like this whole nationalist stuff. It's offensive to the French. I guess that's not the top of our concerns, but like it's ahistorical and stupid.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
Tom's an Olive hater, apparently.
What the hell?
What the hell? Zachariah is an Olive hater.
Yeah, don't mention
And then there was Love as an Olive hater.
Yes.
So.
I am.
Did you say Dan?
Well, I'm a mild hater, but
Mild hater, aka hater.
Yeah. The thing is,
you look like an Olive terrorist, bro.
So it's okay for him to say that he looks like an Olive hater, but then everyone around you is anti-Semitic when they call you out for your antics. Okay. No, it makes sense. You know, it really, once your brain becomes shriveled up and you start losing brain cells because the logic isn't logicking, then it starts making sense. Because then you start having the same brain capacity as Ethan Klein. And what doesn't make sense just starts to make sense. Ethan Klein has been crashing out repetitively for multiple months. We've talked about it before, but even in the past 24 to 48 hours, he's been crashing out a lot. So I have compiled a list of every aspect of the crash out and different topics where he's been crashing out about. And I couldn't even put everything in this video because it would be all over the place if I tried. But we're going to go through the majority of it in this video and more than likely upload a part 2 as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment for more videos like this. We are so close to hitting 15,000. So please support me by hitting that subscribe button and let's get into it. I kind of have to set the playing field for what we're about to talk about. Basically, Ethan Klein's kid, dog, himself, his wife apparently got something called Giardia, which starts, it's kind of like, I believe it's an infection or something like that gives you uncontrollable diarrhea. And this kind of started a snowball effect of CPS getting involved and everyone had a commentary on it and it really pissed him off and he started threatening to sue people. So there's a lot that goes on here. So I just wanted to lay the playing field.
So that's only one part of it. The next part is.
What's the next?
That Olive has Giardia.
Oh shit, I meant to say Giardia, my bad. I don't know why I thought it was Giardia. Okay, you know what? This is why I'm not a doctor.
Which is it's a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
And Olive has this?
Olive has this, yeah. She came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea and
oh, poor baby.
Ducky came to us with that too. And I just wonder why.
It's relatively common.
It should be, they should have found it already. But anyway, so she has Giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic, but we had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today. And Well, Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has Giardia.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
And now Ela has Giardia.
Shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my god.
Jeez, what can I do to not get it?
Yeah, I'm trying
because I'm not trying to get it.
Crack the AC, maybe?
Is it?
It's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop. Are you planning on that?
Never.
Not really.
So then you're fine.
But unfortunately,
so the problem is,
you just told us that your poop is flowing out of your mouth.
Okay, so when you look up Giardia, it's a parasitic infection that is transmitted through fecal to oral route, which means that people become infected by it by ingesting Giardia cysts, which are microscopic parasites found in the feces of infected individuals or animals. So if this started with his dog and his kid, and he said that my kid has been eating everything that he can find, he's in that phase, one can put 2 and 2 together and assume that the kid may have ingested poop that had parasites in it. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that if you put 2 and 2 together, that could be the conclusion that one gets to. You know, I shouldn't be laughing because this is so bad, but it's just like the events that happened after this are so fucking ridiculous. It could have just been completely avoided if he just didn't tell anyone that he and his family contracted poop parasites. But anyways, I digress. Sometimes you yap on live stream, okay? I do it too. Hi, mandated reporter here, just hopping on to give you my non-cracked out perspective on H3's whole my kids have parasites, you only get it from eating feces. Why are people saying I'm a shitty parent situation? Pediatricians, teachers, and school staff workers are all mandated reporters, which means if you have enough reasonable information that leads you to believe that child safety is in danger, you must call CPS before anything happens. So if a kid is visibly disheveled, injured, or ill due to neglect/environment at home, you make a call because if anything happened to the kid, it will stay in your conscious forever. So Ethan responds to this as CPS spoke with his pediatrician. Tests that Sonny's pediatrician ordered showed he never had Giardia. You don't need to literally eat shit to get Giardia. You can get it from surfaces. If Olive's bum brushed on the floor, even with a clean bum, it can spread across the floor surface. It literally doesn't make sense. The parasites have to transfer to the floor. Okay, you know what? Whatever. You know what? I'm not trying to get sued, so I'm just gonna fucking read this. Please report this post in the entire subreddit. Reddit continues to allow to enable unmoderated sub to target my children for real life harassment. So he claims that his kids never had Giardia when he literally was on H3H3, a podcast on YouTube that has millions of subscribers, claiming that him, his wife, his dog, his kid all have Giardia, a specific parasite that comes from the poop of whoever is infected and or whatever animal that is infected. And then he's complaining that Reddit is rejecting reports. But the thing is, this could have all been avoided if he just didn't talk about it online. Like, it's so weird. It's just so weird. So then Ethan says that CPS gets called on him, and this is basically the YouTube video of it.
This morning we got a visit from Child Protective Services because I told a story on the show a few weeks ago about how when we adopted Olive, she had Giardia, and then the next day Sonny started having diarrhea, so we suspected he might have Giardia. Seeing as that he's an infant, he's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, etc. Makes sense, right? It's obvious. So it turned into this whole snark narrative that our house is a mess, that there's dog shit everywhere, that Sonny is eating shit and getting Giardia, and that, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And well, it culminated in somebody finally, an anonymous call went into them on the 3rd, saying that they were somebody that works at the house, and they wanted to report us because our kids are crawling around eating dog shit and getting viruses. And they were able to provide enough details because of what I said on the show to make it appear that it was somebody. He said, like, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that you know who made the report. And I'm like, no, okay. So I mean, they use it. I mean, yeah, you could easily impersonate.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
What's truly like despicable to me is the fact that like you hear so often that CPS, like that they're not always
They're underfunded.
Yes, and also it always like seeps through the cracks for some reason. And so the fact that they were so on it here, it's like that could have gone to a family that really needed it and a child that really needed to be saved. Like
I was pretty surprised. I mean, one anonymous call. I was like, that's all it takes. But I guess the thing is, he was like, we thought it was someone who
I can't imagine.
you know.
How scary.
The guy was very nice. He was a very professional, a nice young guy, very nice. At first, he's not from our world. He doesn't understand. And I tried to explain, like, this is part of this harassment campaign. We've been visited by the FBI. We've been swatted, this and that. And we talked for a while. He gets it. But there's certain things that I guess he has to do. So he looked all, I mean, you walked around with him. I was upset about the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I was very upset as well. He wanted to look at everything.
Well, the house is spotless.
He was checking the house and like, where do the dogs go potty? Because we heard that there's poop on the floor.
And the house is spotless.
Our house is so clean.
And we literally installed this huge outdoor.
If you come on the internet as a controversial figure, you say that your child contracts a parasite from your dog's shit, and you don't expect CPS to show up, I don't know what you expect. And this commentator that's like, people always fall through the cracks at CPS, and CPS decided to care about you. How dare CPS do their job? Wow, this could have gone towards a kid that really needed it. I don't know. In my opinion, if the kid is contracting parasites from eating dog shit, then they need CPS. And I'm not saying that's exactly what happened in Ethan's case, because God fucking knows what happens in his house. I don't fucking know. But I'm just saying, I think that warrants a CPS, visit.
Or, I don't know how you call it. It's like a huge outdoor area connected
We
to
did
the
like,
outdoor.
yeah, because we live in an area where there are coyotes, and we did fence our house like really well. They don't really get in the backyard, but for our own peace of mind, we wouldn't let the dogs out unsupervised.
Hell, in the middle of the night, especially
in the middle of the night. So we set up a doggy door for them that once you exit it, you are in a totally enclosed, like a huge cage. It's not like a small cage, it's like a room.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody in our house is very privileged, including the dogs and the kids. So I showed him like, yeah, we take them out. They have a giant backyard, and then they even have this enclosure that we built just for them so they can go out safely at night. Then I showed him the kids' rooms, and he's like, oh yeah, lots of toys. And I'm like, yep, lots of toys. Then he wanted to see Sunny. I went to show him Sunny, and he fucking woke up Sunny that was taking a nap.
He did on accident.
Not on purpose, but he wanted to take a look. And Sunny's like, they sense everything.
Yeah.
The babies can sense. And it's like, what the fuck is this stranger staring at me in my room? They looked at Sunny, then they wanted to talk to our nanny and ask questions. Who feeds the kids? Who takes care of them? Who takes them to school? And like,
what do you do when you get angry at your kid?
Yeah, what do you do
when a dog poops on the floor? And then the part that, in my opinion, crossed the line was like, so I'm going to visit your kids at school and ask them questions. And I says, you're not fucking doing that. I mean, we both were like, that's not happening.
No,
not going.
Terrifying.
You are not doing that. So he agreed to come visit our house
next week
when the kids are at home, because he needs to fucking interview our kids as a matter of procedure.
But I was like, I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him, if you want to come, and I'm going to tell them that you're our friend, and I'm going to be there, and you can ask them questions as our friend, we can do that. But like, anything beyond that is not happening.
I do want to clarify, the guy was very nice and understanding.
The guy was nice. I have no problem with the guy.
Job, but like,
it's not related.
It's kind of hard to believe that one anonymous tip can result in this fucking
anonymous call.
This massive waste of time and resources from a vitally underfunded, understaffed, overworked department that does really important work.
But then you hear about stories of people that actually need the help and they don't get it.
That's what Olivia was saying, yeah.
So
there's no way that they can know.
So then this is a clip where Gila and Ethan basically talk about dog poop being existent in their house. And I just want us to kind of listen to this because it's very relevant towards this whole entire situation that's been created, okay?
He
wanted to look at everything.
Well, the house is spotless.
He was checking the house and like, where do the dogs go potty? Because we heard that there's poop on the floor.
And the house is spotless.
Our house is so clean.
Is this shit?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all just depends on how significantly different this is than their existing content. I mean, if it's like a huge jump up in production quality, then it'll make sense. What's happening?
The carpet from one of the dogs. It's like a super it's like a super, how do you call it? Fibery, super fluffy with like strings, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously we clean our carpet, but I can't even see it with my naked eye. I was just passing my foot over it and felt a bump. It's old, by the way. It's hard.
Gross. The fight was canceled?
Okay, so obviously this is from an older clip, right? But he has been on live stream where he ran his foot over old dog poop under his desk. So this idea that it's so outlandish that CPS decided to come to your house, like I found this clip on Twitter within the matter of 5 minutes. If I could find it, I'm sure that CPS could find it too. You know, I feel like some people, here's the issue. I think some people forget that the internet has a footprint, and especially when you do work on the internet, your whole entire life, you're live streaming, your livelihood depends on it. You're on the internet a lot. And so it's kind of hard to forget that you had these moments that are still on the internet. And I think this is one of those situations where it's like, is the idea that your child ate dog poop with parasites now completely out of the orbit and unimaginable? It's not. But wait, there's more. So this next segment of Ethan Klein's continuous crash out, I guess you could say Ethan Klein and his family's crash out, because I guess the kids and the dog are involved now. But Ethan and his community start to what seems like randomly attack people. So he begins this whole doxing campaign by going after a random Instagram commentator. This random person that commented, I don't even think they commented anything like terrible, to be completely honest, but we're just gonna watch this video real quick.
He said, I'm glad that phase is behind me. Enjoy hell. Joe Coop said. Let's start David. Here he is, if anyone, let's see if I know, can identify him at all.
People saying I need to let go of the whole Ethan Klein thing. Fuck you. This was sent to my sister today. She's 16 years old. These have not.
Let's see what the message said. I know what school your mom works at. Laugh emoji. Tell her she's not safe. Joe, your brother question mark started some shit and now your mom is gonna pay. Ethan Klein will get her grape, which I'm assuming is a metaphor for rape, which is gross because we're talking about a minor's Instagram.
Not stop. They haven't slowed down. This is the type of shit my family receives every single day. So shout out to Ethan Klein that my mom, who is an art teacher at an impoverished public school, has to deal with this shit. You are truly the morally superior YouTuber.
So that's one tweet I could find of this. And here's another one. Ethan Klein posting people's full names, social medias, and personal information on his stories. His usual harassment techniques aren't working, so he's escalating, possibly trying to make it harder to share vile behaviors that he's engaging with. So this commentator says, I called CPS on you, Ethan. I'm right here. And then proceeds to post their Facebook on his story, I guess. And I guess this is what Denham's had to say about it.
He just like insulted her relentlessly and just like made fun of her and laughed at her, and the crew laughed at her, and she was getting so much harassment she was like, I'm not doing content anymore. I think that's been his experience, that he could just like bully people. That, oh, you want to disagree with me ever? Well, I'm going to bully you as hard as I can, and because I have a bigger audience, you will get harassed more than I will.
I love you. Pizza party.
Now never talk about me again. And like, that's why I like to roll, again, I said it before, but that's why I like to roll around the mud. It's not fair that these people get to just lie about everyone around them and no one calls them out. Like, fuck you, no. You don't get to just be a total piece of shit and then have everyone be too afraid to fucking fight back. Hell no.
Listen, this is so true because Ethan knows he has power. He knows he's a lot bigger than a lot of these creators. He knows he's bigger than the whole entire Arabs podcast. He successfully got Denham's, Frogren, Caprice and Poppy, all these people banned from Twitch who are all either Muslim, Middle Eastern, or both for 30 days, which is literally their whole entire livelihood. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows the power he has. He knows the influence that he has. He knows the shit he can get away with. And so he's using that to his advantage. And he's basically saying, hey, you want to talk shit about me? I'm going to make your life miserable. And he knows he can get away with it for the most part. He knows that. Reminder that Ethan and Hila Klein opened the door on this when they started report brigading smaller creators for being critical of them. So let's watch him do it again here.
I apologize to Bertolicious Do Not Worry number 130 on YouTube.
I am proudly reporting this guy for, let's see, promotes terror. Does it promote terrorism? Kind of. I don't know if that's the most accurate. It does promote terrorism.
Inciting
violent or hateful or abusive? I feel like it's even worse than that. I guess I'll do that.
You choose all of the above?
Promotes hate or violence. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm helping clean YouTube up. Enjoy. Right here. Should I write something?
Enemy field upgrade.
Watch the following minute from this timestamp. He is encouraging and cheering on violence against civilians.
So there you see him go on a smaller creator's YouTube channel video that he didn't like and report it for terrorism and whatnot. So I also know one of the people that he doxed took it on TikTok.
Here's the
this is the guy that got doxed by Ethan.
3-minute unfiltered clip of Ethan Klein telling his followers to witch hunt me for telling him to enjoy hell. I did say that because they're staunchly Zionists, and I don't like Zionists. I think they should go to hell, and hopefully they enjoy it. I mean, they're gonna be in hell. But yeah, here's the video.
Man, I'm being obsessed with you guys when you only had 15K subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell. This guy's for real. Joe Coop. Look this guy up. Enjoy hell. He said, enjoy hell.
Yeah, no, I mean, they think I'm actually the devil.
I feel like this one's real. We caught you, Joe. Public-facing account.
Joe.
I see you. You wanted to be cute? Let's see it. Nice mustache. Strong entry. Not exactly the Esteban, but halfway there.
He's not. Oh yeah.
Yes, he's a real guy.
He's not showing up for me.
So this is Joe Coop. He left a message on Hila's Star David tattoo. He said, "I'm glad that phase is behind me. Enjoy hell." Joe Coop said. On Star David. Here he is. If anyone. Fuck him. This is what you. Here's your mom. I wonder if she knows what you do on social media on your free time. You love your mama. Good thing she's not Jewish, eh, Joe? I love it. I love it. So anyway, best of luck to you out there, Joe. I don't know who you are, but you're a fucking asshole. And shame on you. Yeah. Let's see. Sluther. Oh, you're absolute.
So I actually, listen, go to hell. That's not a nice comment, but I don't necessarily know how that ties to anti-Semitism. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. So this is the same guy that said that his mother is a elementary school teacher and was getting harassed constantly, and his sister was getting great comments. It's the same guy. And that's just crazy to me, right? Like it's crazy to me that you're using your big platform like that in such a hurtful way, right? Because you're claiming that you're fighting anti-Semitism whilst sending so much hate towards someone else. All right, this is Hassan Haidar. He's the director of Creators for Palestine. It's a creator collective that fundraise for Palestine. They all fundraise for Palestine. And so he uploaded this video a very long time ago. Like he uploaded this video a long time ago. It was a couple months ago. And just today, literally a couple hours ago, he posts on his story what he means is free Palestine. He posted a video calling out Ethan and talking about, the Palestine movement. His comments are saying Ethan Klein needs to be dealt with. He's doing it to himself, Ethan Klein, and I need them to go distant with it. I hope you know how bad this sounds. I hope you don't care. I hope you know I don't care. Fuck Ethan Klein. Sure, these comments are nice. Ethan is trying to say that this is something anti-Semitic. I don't see how it's anti-Semitic because the video was not anti-Semitic whatsoever. And this is the video. So we're gonna watch the video a little bit sped up because it is a 5-minute video.
Creators for Palestine raised $1.6 million. That's fantastic. Literally negligible. They've received billions of fucking dollars. It's a good thing. Has 1.6 $5.6 million had an outcome on anything happening in Gaza? Absolutely fucking not. Has it helped people? Sure. Has it helped fucking the actual, like, movement? No. Like, raise money. That's good. That's the easiest fucking thing you can do is just give money, right? Good. Let's talk about real activism. Let's talk about enacting meaningful change.
It's not real activism. It didn't make a single difference in Gaza. He's lost his mind. It's crazy how much I used to look up to Age 3. They were the fathers of fair use, and now he's just sitting here crashing out for days on end because Hassan Piker won't watch his silly little class project. That $1.69 million, and I put the 9 there because it was $1.693 million, so it's pretty close to 1.7, so we'll round up. That $1.69 million helped so many individuals, and no, it absolutely did not solve the crisis. That's not what we set out to do. If we had the power to do that, we would have done that 1,000 times over, but no amount of YouTubers coming together is going to solve what's happening in Gaza. We wanted to do two things. Use our platform to spread awareness and help in the ways that we can and raise the money that we can. And if you can't understand that, Ethan, if you can't, like, mentally understand that that's activism, you're an idiot. We pulled together creators from every single corner of the internet, people who have nothing in common, people who have never, ever talked about any political topic in public, and we got them to speak out about Palestine. We gave them the forum to use their platform for good. The whole point was to get people who have never talked about these kinds of issues, who have never cared about these kinds of issues, and put them in front of them. And I think we did exactly that. From the Try Guys to Curtis Connors to everybody that we had together in that room, and reached so many corners of the internet and reached so many more people than we'd ever had before. That's activism. And then beyond that, VidCon was 2 weeks later, and I can't tell you how many creators came up to me and said, thank you for doing that, asked on how they could be a part of the next event we do, asked what they could do from their own communities and their own platform because they've been terrified to speak out. But seeing guys like Curtis Connors, seeing guys like the Try Guys put their whole platform out there on the line and say, I don't care what the U.S. government says about where they're going to send their dollars and who they're going to weaponize, I'm going to support this human rights violation. That's the activism, Ethan. It's using your platform to spread awareness. And on top of that, you're just implying that none of us did anything else. Lots of us marched at rallies, lots of us spoke to our lawmakers, called our senators, called our local government officials, and made it very clear this is an issue to us. And here's a clip from his content nuke where he talks about how he donated $6,500 to Palestine.
Despite what you've read on TikTok and Twitter, I've donated $6,500 to a Palestinian charity after the war started.
Hey, Ethan Klein, thank you for the dono. Ethan Klein gave $6,500.
When he was called out about this on Twitter and on Threads, he decided to come after Stanzi Potenza and go out of his way to say, how much money did you personally donate? That's such a stupid conversation point. So many creators, because I run Creators for Palestine. I see the back end. I see every donation. I can't tell you how many creators donated $10,000 plus $25,000 and more, but didn't make a public statement about it. And didn't try and say, hey, look at me, I'm a good guy. I did something that's the most basic human necessity. Hey, I'm a millionaire, so I decided to give some of my money. And unlike Ethan, didn't make it a shield to say, hey, I don't have these horrible political beliefs. No, because I donated $6,500 to Palestine. Therefore, I made a difference. And then he's going to come out and criticize Creators for Palestine. And for what? Ethan, I was a massive fan of you growing up. I can't tell you how much I looked up to you as the father of fair use and for dunking on horrible, cringy people on the internet, but you've become exactly what you were against back in the day. You have the kind of life people dream of. You're a multi-millionaire, you got your kids, you have everything you could want, and you spend every day sitting on the internet crying and whining and moaning. Get offline and get your mental health in order. You have absolutely lost it. And don't you dare ever disrespect Creators for Palestine or any other charity again. When you're sitting there talking, you're calling us to do some real activism. What the hell have you done? Was your content new real activism? Was telling everybody that, oh my God, big reveal, Hassan Piker's a socialist. Of course he's a socialist. He's been a radical socialist the whole time. That's who he's been. That's not real activism either. So why don't you get off, go enjoy your millions of dollars, your wonderful life, and then do some real activism if you care about it, instead of sitting in your stupid podcast chair, yelling at your employees, treating everybody you know like crap. Because you know, Ethan, multiple people in your life haven't spoken to you because they're nervous of how you react in public, but privately, tons of your friends have talked to me and to others about how worried they are about you and your mental health because you've absolutely flying off the handle. Get it together.
Ate and left no crumbs, but I will say if someone made a video about me and it popped off, I would be very embarrassed because he ate him up. He ate him up alive, left no fucking crumbs, like not a single word was misplaced. He said what he said. And he just continues on a story rampage, right? He goes off on Matt Lieb, he hates Bad Empanada. From interviewing Bad Empanada to sitting table side with Rhett and Link, I would give Rhett and Link the benefit of the doubt and assume that they didn't know what kind of a person Matt Lieb is. So Matt Lieb is also another content creator. I hope I'm saying his name right. He just starts going off, expressed love for checking notes. Oh, excuse me. Matt Lieb stopped by the Snark subreddits to express his love for them. And then he said, I love you to the Snark subreddit. Going on with all of this, I feel like I'm missing a part to this because like, why is he going off? Hold on. I know it was related to the Noah Samson beef. I'm trying to remember how. Guys, there's so many things happening with this man that like it's really hard to follow. I think it all started Yeah, I think it all started from just Ethan posting on his story, but I could be wrong because there's just a lot. There's so many elements to his multiple layers of crash outs that it's hard to follow, so don't quote me on this. Matt Lieb tweets, I'm 100% against anyone calling CPS on YouTubers they don't like. 48 hours of being harassed by Ethan Klein later, we gotta save them kids. Matt Lieb is a contributor to the H3 Snark subreddit, the old one and the new one. This is the community responsible for the CPS visiting us. So I think he's like, I don't know, he's maybe assuming that Matt Lieb was the one that called CPS, which is tied to the whole CPS. And then he, like, I don't know, Ethan Klein's chat talking about Matt Lieb is hilarious. Quote, how can we politely communicate to Matt Lieb's friends and colleagues of many years that he must now be exiled because our favorite visibly degenerate podcast host has put a fatwa on him. So this is actually really funny. I don't know if you... So this commentator is basically saying that Ethan put a fatwa on Matt Lieb, and if you don't know what a fatwa is, it's basically Curb Your Enthusiasm did a bit on it, but it's, I don't know how to explain it, but it's basically like a hit, like for example, like the Islamic Republic of Iran can put a fatwa on someone and it's like a hit from like an Islamic regime. I could be wrong though, but that's like my definition, like my knowledge of a fatwa. Anyways, okay. So then in the midst of all of this, Ethan, so we've been talking about Ethan and Reddit, right? And we've been talking about how he's basically blaming Reddit for a lot of the things that are happening to him, right? He's like, Reddit this, Reddit that person is posting on H3 Snark, like this Reddit post is doing this, that, and the third to me. So then he starts kind of threatening Reddit executives on his stream. And so that's kind of like another subsection of this whole lore crash out that's happening.
Where's Reddit headquarters? San Francisco?
Thank you.
Maybe do this after the show.
Well, I'm saying I'll go there and do a show in front of their fucking office. I'll do what I have to do. These people are fucking with my children.
Right. Yeah.
I will go and I will fucking stay there as long as I need to, and I'll do the show in front of Reddit headquarters and dedicate every fucking episode to destroying every executive officer there and dragging them to fucking hell. I will drag. That's my point. I no longer care, right? I don't care. I will drag these people into hell with me. That's what I'm saying I'll do. I will go through every fucking detail of this dude's life publicly, and I will fucking...
That's probably not going to win you any favors with them.
Publicly, information, right? We got no problem with public information. It's not doxing. Let's fucking find out more about Steve Huffman.
Yeah, I mean...
Bruh.
Okay.
I told you I don't care, and I'm literally going to do whatever it takes to get these people to stop harassing my fucking children.
So this is what's really fascinating to me about what he just did there. He's saying that he's going to go around and he's going to destroy this, executive's life, right? Which, just like his co-host said, is not going to win him any points whatsoever on any part of this crusade that he's on, right? But also, he's claiming that other people are making his lives miserable when he's doing things like this. And it's like, you're out here threatening to dox executives and you're saying that other people are making your life miserable. You see where like it doesn't make sense, and this is why I believe that it's a full-blown crash out, because like homie is crashing out. Like he's doing exactly what he claims he hates because he believes that he's on this crusade of righteousness, right? And it's like, if you're attacking the people who may have called CPS, you're attacking Denims, you're saying you're gonna sue Bad and Empanada, you're saying that you're constantly have spent basically the past multiple months, over a year, obsessing over Hassan and dropping some content new that was supposed to destroy his career. You got Frogan, Capri Sun Poppy, Vio, Denims, another person. You got all these people banned off of Twitch for 30 days. Everyone in his mind is against him. Meanwhile, at the same time, he's literally harassing everyone that he believes are against him. Do you see the cognitive dissonance here? It's like it doesn't make sense, and so many people are afraid to talk about him and hold him accountable because they know the power that he holds. They know that within the snap of his fingers, he can make somebody's life miserable. He knows that. I uploaded a video, the react video I did on Hassan's nuke that Ethan posted. It got I got so much harassment from that video, and I think it somehow landed on the Ethan ether, the people that still support him. It was insane. It was like some Destiny level orbiters, right? For anyone that is in this space, you know how bad Destiny orbiters are. Like, you get Destiny's fans on you, you gotta like log off the internet for a week because it's just not gonna be fun, right? And I think all of us who have ever been against Destiny, which I am proud to say that since day one, I've hated that man. You just know how it's gonna go. Like, you know how it's gonna go. You know the harassment, the death threats, the doxing. You just know what's gonna happen, right? And it's giving cognitive dissonance to me because it's like, how can you say that so many people are anti-Semitic and against you when you are literally on a crusade to ruin multiple people's lives? Might I say the lives of mostly Middle Eastern and Muslim people. And you claim that everyone's anti-Semitic towards you whilst you continuously attack people who are either Middle Eastern, Muslim, both. In his Hassan nuke, he dragged some random black executive into the mix and he was like, this black executive in this company is also with Hassan because they posted about Palestine. Like, it's insane. It's insane to me. You cannot claim that everyone is against you when you are constantly trying to make everyone's life around you worse. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. This is basically Hilla, right? So in here, she's asking not to be harassed. So Hilla posts on Instagram, we've been getting harassed lately in ways that we've never experienced before. They called Child Protective Services to our house yesterday, and we are now performing an investigation. If you know a reporter that is willing to cover this topic, online harassment and Reddit snark pages, please let me know. This has crossed all lines of what's okay, and I just wish someone would take this seriously. We've been talking about this on our podcast for years now, and it's like no one hears us. Ethan and I are two very strong individuals, so we'll be okay. But I worry for others in this situation, it could end in suicide. I think this whole CPS thing like really got to them in ways where it really hurt their ego, because I mean, it's kind of embarrassing getting CPS called on you because your child ate shit and contracted a parasite, right? Like, I'll be honest with you, I would be real embarrassed. But it's just like when you consistently attack people with your platform and then you cry and you ask for help when you get CPS called for what I believe is something pretty warranted, not a lot of people are gonna care. Like, I'm sorry, babe. It's just, let's get a reporter on this. Let's get this, it's just not gonna happen. So then this is another screenshot, Hilla Klein, when someone else asks not to be harassed. So she's pleading for the internet to stop harassing her. This person is texting her, I'm pleading with you to stop. Why can't you? Okay, then no need for a phone call. Why can't you just leave me alone, please? Everyone, you talk about me, more of this comes up. Moses is being accused of rape. It's too fucking much. You can record our call. I don't care. I'm sincerely begging that this be over. And this is from Frenemies, right? I believe this is Trisha Paytas or whatever, and her husband's name is Moses. Hilla, my mom is having a mental breakdown. My whole family is basically broken down. Welcome to the club. If welcome to the club. You're not the only victim here. Start taking responsibility for your own actions and stop blaming us for everything that's happened to you. And same for Moses, who is not in this chat, but I'm sure he is reading it. I'm sorry. I'm going to be really honest with you. It's giving white woman tears. It really is. It's just like you and your husband have been on a harassment campaign. Y'all have been harassing people for so fucking long, and then you're over here boohoo crying. Guys, do you know a reporter? Do you know someone that's gonna cover this? You're making a career off of attacking people, babe. I'm gonna need you to look in the mirror, okay? I'm gonna need you to do some real self-reflection. Okay. This is segment 3 of this crash out. I promise you my brain was rotting by the end of this because I had to. There's so many elements that I had to like bring together. It was really a fucking pain in the ass. Oh yeah, there's more. Actually, we need to do part 2 of this because there's a bunch more that I literally couldn't put in this video. Like it would have just been too many moving parts. So the Arabs podcast. Remember we talked about the streamers that got banned, that Ethan successfully banned? Ethan says similar things to the Arab pod members and gets away with it. So let's see what this tweet is about, which my mutual Frogan posted. For those of you that don't know, we're going to do a quick recap on why the Arabs podcast got banned on Twitch, okay? The Arabs podcast had a panel on Twitch. It was multiple people, not just people of the podcast. Everyone on there was either Middle Eastern or Muslim. They had a tiering system. They were tiering different people, the highest being that they're Arab, the lowest being that they like Sabra hummus. They did this because nobody who's Middle Eastern or Arab likes Sabra hummus. It's just a thing. We hate it. We don't like it. It tastes like wet cement. So they said that Ethan Klein was rated below the lowest ranking, which was Sabra hummus. Ethan Klein came online and said that this was anti-Semitic because a lot of people in Israel like Sabra hummus and they have it in their fridge. And therefore Twitch listened and Twitch banned them for 30 days because they insulted Sabra hummus. And then Ethan Klein felt personally attacked because they attacked him by putting him in the Sabra hummus tier. Let's watch this video.
Should we try to get hummus tonight for Gallia's staying with us?
We can. We just need to order before 4.
Let's get it in. This is the best hummus place ever that we want you guys to try. It is
trigger warning: Israeli hummus.
The hummus.
As long as it's not that Sabra shit.
No, the Jews don't sit around eating Sabra.
No.
They eat Sabra like anyone does. It's store-made shit.
I still
snack on.
I
have no other
I
options.
can't do it.
In Israel, the store-bought stuff is better.
Growing up, I thought it was. I didn't even know it was Israeli. I just didn't like it.
I agree, it's not that good. I mean,
I store bought. What could you do? Yeah.
You don't sit around and eat
Yeah.
it like you would a bowl of hummus.
Yeah.
That's
No,
insane.
that's crazy.
Nobody does that.
I do that.
It is. It is.
I do that.
You sit around and just grub on a bowl of.
I've never. Listen. I know that there's like the restaurant hummus obviously is better, but
You
you.
gotta bring it here.
No, I got it before. The restaurant hummus is better. I'm not gonna say it's, but I think Sabra's fine. It's fine.
Ooh, Dinus.
It's fine. Hummus.
Stop with the
right?
hummus.
No, I think listen, if you want to have a shelf-stable hummus, you're gonna have to add all kinds of shit in there that's gonna affect the flavor and the consistency, and that's why it's not fucking great. It's a shelf-stable product with preservatives and shit,
Yeah,
and
it's
like
weirdly fluffy.
It is fluffy.
Weird.
Yeah, and you're not gonna find a better hummus in the store.
Nobody's gonna back me up here.
No.
Oh, you okay? Okay.
You're not gonna find a better hummus that you can buy from a grocery store. They're all the same.
Okay. Yeah, that might be.
I mean, yeah, I don't know of any other brands.
I mean,
like a whole thing.
yeah, you can get a couple of
It's not.
brands.
No, there are other brands, but I'm saying they're just as good. It's not like they're like, oh my god, it's a miracle, they did it.
Yeah, if I don't see like my favorite brand of hummus in the store, I would just grab a Sabra and like, I don't know, just like Dan, I would buy it sometimes and eat it. It's not the best. It's store bought.
Are you sure
Sit
you
there
want
with
to
a bag of pita and some
Yeah.
hummus and
button
just
that.
slam on that. You know, absolutely.
I'm with Dan. Like, I'll just eat Sabra. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it's the best by any means.
Your
but-
asses.
Yeah, I'm
One
sorry.
other
I'm
thing,
sorry. I'm
it's
sorry if that's controversial.
I don't no, I agree. I think Sabra hummus is fine if you need something in the fridge. But like, obviously, someone who's lived in the Middle East and eaten fresh hummus from people that know how to make it, it's like it's a different food. It's not even the same food.
Yeah, it's basically not even the same category.
Yeah.
It was
When Frogan and the Arabs panel shit on Sabra hummus, it was a whole problem and they got banned for a month and they had their whole entire livelihood stripped away from them for a month. But when he claims that Sabra sucks, it's okay. You cannot claim that Frogan was anti-Semitic because she claimed that Sabra hummus sucks because Israeli people have Sabra hummus in their fridge, whilst at the same time claiming that Sabra hummus sucks a month later. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Anyways, then Ethan is using olive as an alternative to Arab, which I haven't even seen this clip, so let's see what this is.
Tom's
an olive hater, apparently.
What the hell?
What the hell?
Zachariah is an olive hater.
Yeah, don't mention.
And then there was Love as an olive hater.
Yes.
So
I am.
Did you say Dan?
Well, I'm a mild hater, but
Mild hater, aka hater.
Yeah. The thing is,
you look like an olive terrorist, bro.
I like them enough that it's fine for me to sit it out. And somebody needs to. There's a lot of mics when we're doing this segment.
So it's okay for him to say that he looks like an olive hater, but then everyone around you is anti-Semitic when they call you out for your antics. Okay. No, it makes sense. You know, it really, once your brain becomes shriveled up and you start losing brain cells because the logic isn't logicking, then it starts making sense. Because then you start having the same brain capacity as Ethan Klein. And what doesn't make sense just starts to make sense. I don't know how else to say it. So then Hassan starts talking about the snark pages.
He said that? Bro, is there a thing that happens? Is there a thing that happens on the planet to Ethan that I am not responsible for? There is no world in which I would ever fucking entertain that, okay? That is a psychotic thing, especially because, let me tell you why I would never do that. Because I'm not Ethan fucking Klein, okay? That's right. I would never in a million years entertain such a thing. Never, ever, ever in a million fucking years would I entertain such a thing.
Controlling Bravo.
It's completely unacceptable. It's completely ridiculous. The fact that people have done that is also insane. I don't know who did it. I don't know what they did. But the notion that, like, I would ever entertain that is insane. Okay.
I just think for a lot of people, Hassan is a very easy target. And like, listen, I've told you guys I love Hassan, but like, he does some shit I don't agree with. That's fine. I don't have to agree with everyone 100% of the time. That doesn't mean I don't like them. But, you know, I just think for Ethan, like, he's a very easy target because it's just like, oh, something bad happens to me. Oh, that's Ethan's fault. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I mean, I guess you can do that, but it's like, you know, like, you can blame everything on Hassan. You just start kind of looking like the boy that cried wolf, though, because no one's going to be taking you seriously or your allegations seriously. You know what I mean?
The only thing I've done so far in terms of Ethan Klein's like many attacks against me, which have obviously backfired on him spectacularly, and that's actually caused them to like double down, triple down, quadruple down in very meaningful ways, including like randomly going after Redditors, trying to get Reddits unbanned or trying to get Reddits banned, is that it's pure projection.
They're taking C.
It's quite literally projection. I have not done a fraction of what he has done to me in return. Like, not even a fucking fraction. Do you understand? I've also maintained the position that I think snark Reddits are genuinely not good for people's mental health. This is something that I have talked about before, time and time again. I don't think that I don't think it's a healthy thing to do. Hate watching, especially as someone who personally has a shit ton of hate watchers and content creators who are actively engaging in the hate watching and creating communities around hate watching. I know what that does to a person's mentality. Initially, it was Sex Destiny, who has ruined his own life because of his own decisions. And now Ethan Klein is carrying the fucking torch. If his initial analysis, if his initial argument is like, oh, well, you know, Hassan is doing snark shit to me, which I think is fucking ridiculous, by the way, because the only thing I do is actively defend myself against his many different smears. If that is considered snark, what the fuck is Ethan Klein's subreddit? What the fuck is he doing every single day? He lies about every single thing that I do every day, every time he's broadcasting, including, I guess, but not limited to the fact that he's somehow tied back someone engaging in a heinous act of calling Child Protective Services on him to me. Ridiculous.
Listen, I don't know. I think that whoever called CPS on him, obviously that's like very extreme. I think given the circumstances that his child ingested a parasite coming from poop, like I think that would warrant a CPS, you know, call. Now, was that CPS call made for the right reasons? Did they do it because they were worried about the kid, or did they do it because they hate Ethan? I don't know. Was it the pediatrician? I don't know. Was it a mandated reporter? I don't know. I don't know this situation, right? But you know, maybe Hassan didn't really know why someone called CPS on him. I don't know. I don't know the situation, but you know, the point that Ethan keeps attacking Hassan, like he does. He attacks Hassan. He attacks creators like Frogan and Denims. I don't think he personally attacks me because I'm not big enough to be on his radar. I think he really only cares about bigger Twitch streamers and random commentators on his YouTube or I don't know, Instagram posts. I don't know. Maybe one day he'll start hating on me too. Who knows? But it's just one of those things where it's like he does go after people, and he goes after very specific people, right? We're not talking about the white people. We're talking about the Muslim and Middle Eastern population, which there's already not a lot of us here. There's not a lot of us that stream. There's not a lot of us that are here. We put our lives at risk when we talk about things like Palestine, right? We are constantly under attack. We're under fire. Like our job is already hard enough, and then add on a shithead like Ethan Klein to it. You know what I mean? It makes that shit fucking 10 times worse. So then this is where Ethan admits to making Hassan Piker snark pages, which are basically Hassan Piker like hate pages on Reddit.
What? Ethan
have to imagine that they are actively participating in it, because why, when we make a Hassan, when somebody makes a Hassan Piker snark, it gets banned immediately for harassment.
What?
that I have to imagine that they are actively participating in it. Because why, when somebody makes a Hassan Piker snark, it gets banned immediately.
That had to be the Freudian slip of the year, babe. Like, he couldn't edit that out because he was on live stream. So once you get clipped, you're fucked. Oh God, that's not a good look, Ethan. That's not a good look. I don't understand how he gets away with so much. He gets away with a lot, y'all. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh man. H3H3 plans to sue streamer Denims after false child neglect claims. Internet drama takes serious turn as online accusations turn into real CPS visits for Ethan and Hilla. Not everyone is convinced the lawsuit has merit. California defamation laws typically require public figures like Klein to prove actual malice and reckless disregard for the truth. Some online commentators question whether the case would survive an anti-slap motion, which protects freedom of speech against strategic lawsuits. Others have claimed that the controversy stems from Klein's own statements on his podcast being discussed by others, complicating the legal picture. I mean, I just don't know. I just like, it's just like constant, and then I don't know. And then, okay, so he claims that he's gonna, you know, sue Denims or whatever. Then Bad Empanada also responds to Ethan too, because I guess Ethan says that he's gonna go after him too in some capacity, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, Ethan Klein, in his pathetic inability to respond to any of the people who criticize him, went and had a nice little chat with his partner manager, sent them like all of my videos on him, and only one of them stuck. So they deleted the first Alexa video. If you don't know, every YouTuber past a certain point, usually like around 1 million subscribers, gets a partner manager, which is like a direct line that you have to YouTube, so you don't have to deal with the ChatGPT support that everyone else gets. Like everyone else on YouTube, if you want support, what you get is a bot. You never get to talk to a person. It's not allowed. It's just a bot that repeats form letters at you. Whereas bigger YouTubers get a partner manager, where, as it says here, personalized assistance. And obviously a YouTuber like Ethan, who has multiple big channels, who has been on the platform for like 10 years, he 100% has a partner manager. Ethan absolutely does have one. A channel like his, as big as it does, has a partner manager. And I know for a fact that it got through, like it was a direct intervention from YouTube. It was not regular reporting. Because YouTube sent me an email directly from YouTube partner support, which they do not do unless something was done manually. If it's not manually, it's not sent from them. It's not sent, by a named person. It's just sent with like a form. The idea that Ethan Klein, 3 million subscribers on multiple channels, does not have a partner manager is an absurdity. Obviously he does. You guys should not believe people when they lie. Ethan is a habitual liar. Obviously he's lying. So what happens normally when YouTube removes one of your videos or demonetizes a video or age restricts a video, you get a from no reply at youtube.com, which just says, YouTube demonetize your video, YouTube remove your video, something like that. What happened to me was not that. What happened to me is I got an email directly from YouTube partner support, which, as I said, does not happen in normal circumstances unless you contact them directly. And the guy's like, hello, my name is Michael, and I'm reaching out to you on behalf of YouTube's community outreach team with important information about your channel. That is what happens when there's a direct intervention at the request of someone, either at YouTube or someone who has enough clout with YouTube to get in direct contact with them and request something be removed. So it is very, very obvious that this was a result of Ethan directly contacting YouTube. This does not happen if someone uses the regular report feature. So what happened very clearly is Ethan took all of my videos responding to him, and he sent all of them to his partner manager, and his partner manager only agreed on one of them. So it was like an attempt to get me deplatformed, but it didn't work because not even his own contacts at YouTube agree with his bullshit. At this point, you have to understand, Ethan has so much reportable content on his YouTube. Ethan's YouTube has it's the most reportable YouTube in the world, especially his older channels like H3 Productions. So if he wants to throw stones, I would suggest he doesn't do it in a glass house, because there's so many disgusting jokes in his videos that do not fly on YouTube these days. I wouldn't need the direct intervention of a partner manager. I just need people making valid reports. Basically all of Ethan's content is targeted harassment. 90% of it involves him making jokes about rape or pedophilia. Funny jokes, yeah. So if Ethan wants to start attempting to deplatform people, honestly, I don't understand how no one has tried to get him back but with actual valid reports yet. But again, YouTube has a 2-tier sort of support system where until you reach a specific threshold, like usually around 1 million, but it can be before that, you get like 1 million subscribers, you get ChatGPT support, and you will never ever speak to a human no matter what happens. You know, if you have a problem, deal with it. It's not going.
Yeah, so, you know, I want to point out something that I think is really, you know, crucial here when we listen to so many smaller creators, right? Claiming, you know, talking about how he ruined their life. Well, not ruined their life, but how he reported them and was successful. Frogan, Denham's, Bad Empanada, Matt Lieb, he's now going after as of today. And you just have to understand that this is the Zionist playbook, right? The Zionist playbook is always having the resources, which he does, kind of like the state of Israel. The Zionist playbook is constantly being the victim, even though you are attacking people. So what does the state of Israel do? The state of Israel continuously bombs, takes away food, takes away electricity from people in Gaza, attacks the West Bank on a regular basis. And what do? They always paint themselves as the victim. They're like, oh, but we're the only Jewish state in this area. We need this land. We're the chosen people, right? There's always a reason for their terrorizing people, innocent civilians that don't deserve to be terrorized in that way. And so the Ethan and Hilla playbook it's Zionism. It is Zionism. Maybe he's going to see this. Maybe him and his wife are going to hate me for it. But at this point, I don't care, because if you look at what the state of Israel does to Palestinian people, and you look at what Ethan Klein does to smaller influencers, content creators, because he knows he has the power to do it, you will see the direct correlation and how they're handling themselves, right? You, as Ethan and Hilla Klein, you guys can attack people constantly as much as you want. You don't see any repercussions because you know how big you are. You know you've been in the YouTube game for almost 15 years. You know the power that you have. You know the money and the backing that you have, right? And the minute someone calls CPS on you, then it's, I'm going to cry a river. We need reporters to report this. You guys need to care about this. Please, this has been ruining our life. This is traumatizing our children who are 3 and 5 and probably not even going to remember this. What is more traumatizing, your child eating poop and getting a parasite that comes from poop, or a CPS person asking them very basic questions, which if there's nothing going on, you shouldn't be scared of them asking any questions? That's just me. That's just my opinion. But it took me a long time to compile this video, and I had to go through a lot of different aspects of his crash out, and I had to build this narration because there's so many different parts that are happening at the same time with him. So we're more than likely going to do a part 2 of this stream / YouTube video, and we're going to be talking about more his Israel takes and other aspects of his crash outs.
A big YouTuber named Eric Conover, almost 3 million subscribers, is facing a multitude of serious charges, including attempted murder. That's not Weenie Hut Jr. That's pretty high-level crime. If crime was Call of Duty, that would be pretty close to hitting prestige level. And he's spoken recently, and he basically cut like a WWE promo, like, you got it all wrong, and if you ever question my mental competence, I will come snap you in half like a Kit Kat, I swear to God. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but he did talk about how he would eviscerate anyone that questions his mental competence. It's really weird shit. He's claiming it's all a massive misunderstanding, but let's go ahead and set the stage here, the lore that you need to know. Eric is a very successful YouTuber whose content focuses on these luxury mansion tours. He goes and does all of these bougie real estate videos where he shows you these dreadfully overpriced locations. I can't believe I've never seen his channel. I wasn't familiar with him until this story, because I have been so deep in that rabbit hole of consuming that content, of touring these ridiculously overpriced property that are just dog shit, where it's like a $55 million mansion tour. This house comes with sci-fi amenities. You walk in and it has a new mother. It cloned your previous mother. It also has an automaton that'll whip up a charcuterie board anytime you ask it to. The shower's made out of plutonium, platinum, and other rare earth minerals. The sink faucets are vibranium, and it also has this 15,000-year-old oak tree planted right in the middle to help with your chakras, that kind of garbage. He does those. That's like his bread and butter content, but I'd never seen him before. I didn't know about him until this story, which is surprising, but not nearly as surprising as the crimes that he is accused of committing. So what happened is an officer visually estimated that he was driving at speeds of around 55 to 60 in a zone where that was excessively fast. So he began to pursue Conover and managed to get him stopped through various maneuvers. The officer exited his vehicle and moved around to the rear of his cruiser, and Mr. Conover allegedly backed his vehicle, rapidly pointed it directly at the officer, and accelerated at him, striking him at a reasonably high rate of speed. And it was alleged that the officer flew between 20 and 40 feet. They also said, "We're very fortunate that an amateur drone operator was in the air when he saw the interaction, was able to capture it on video." That video has not been released yet. I imagine it won't, because it's going to be a crucial piece of evidence in this, I would imagine. But I would also guess there's body cam footage too. Now, there is footage of the chase that's been released. It's very short footage filmed by someone who was nearby on rollerblades and just happened to capture him fleeing from the police, as well as some footage of the vehicle once they got it stopped. Eric is claiming that he is not the same Eric Conover police want for the attempted murder on that officer. Eric Conover, the YouTuber, is from New York, not New Jersey, as authorities claim, stating, "This seems to be a massive misunderstanding. I'm exactly who I say I am. I'm a YouTuber." Now, we all know YouTubers are some of the most respected individuals on the planet. Their reputation is spotless, up there with like firefighters. So him saying that is a big deal. Also, he loves to mention how successful he is as a YouTuber. That's like a core part of his whole personality, even during all of this. He's also currently facing some DWI charges for an arrest that allegedly happened just days earlier. And then when he went to court, as I mentioned at the beginning, he put on quite the performance. He tried to be like the fucking Joker or something there. This guy, he was looking for some kind of Oscar nomination for some really over-the-top villainous acting. He looked unhinged.
Everything right here, and it's all been falsified.
Eric Conover had a lot to say before his arraignment this afternoon.
If anyone dares try to test my mental competence, I will eviscerate every single person with my intelligence right now. And
he's like Charles Xavier from Logan. His intelligence is so supreme, he can blow us away with a single thought. This man is a transcendent being.
That's not being egotistical.
Police paperwork says the pursuit started after Conover was going 55 in a 35. After 8 miles, Conover stopped and an officer attempted to de-escalate the situation, but Conover allegedly drove at him and hit him in the leg and then sped off for another 28 miles.
Our Father who art in heaven.
The paperwork.
If I had to venture a guess here, when he got pulled over, he was probably drinking, didn't want another DUI, so he sped at the officer, hit the officer, and drove away. So, not exactly, you know, jaywalking charges or an ounce of weed.
Officer was thrown 40 feet, suffering a leg injury. Conover is facing several charges, including attempted murder.
Oh, thank God, look at me!
Today in court, Conover was outspoken, claiming that he's a public figure because of his nearly 3 million subscribers on YouTube, and saying this was part of a, quote, police sting against him.
View the police reports in this matter, denies these allegations. He does not agree with the reports as they are stated.
The defense asked...
I'm very curious what he denies there. If he hit the officer, physically hit the officer with his car and drove away, that's kind of like a tough one to say that it's wrong. Like, no, that's fabricated. It's CGI. That wasn't me. It couldn't have been me. I'm 12 years old. I can't drive yet. Like, I don't even know what strategy he's trying to employ. Nah, he ran into my car. Oh, wait, maybe. Yeah, actually. No, you see, he ran at me and he threw himself off of my car 40 feet. And then the jump scare was a lot, so I panicked and I drove away.
Police say he was arrested Friday night for a separate drunk driving charge, which Conover denies.
I've been sober from alcohol for 1,558 days, so press me on a DUI, I'm a public figure.
The judge did hold Conover.
Good defense.
Preventative detention. He's due back.
Yeah, Eric Conover's facing right down the pipe of a lot of things here. It's a laundry list. He's got the DWI, the attempted murder charge, the first-degree assault against a police officer, as well as second-degree assault, reckless conduct with a deadly weapon, conduct after an accident, disobeying an officer, and reckless driving. Man's out here trying to get the platinum trophy for crimes. This is a lot, and it's all very serious. And it seems like he's trying to claim all of the information is falsified, all of the evidence is hooey, it's a load of fucking dirty barnacles, they've got the wrong guy, it's a misunderstanding. He's a big successful YouTuber, it definitely wasn't him. This is truly just a big old mix-up. Now, from what I saw, over the last like 10 or 11 days, he had been posting some very concerning stuff on Instagram, and his community was concerned for his mental state. Now, I don't mean to summon the wrath of Eric the Megamind himself right now. I know he said he'd eviscerate anyone that would do so. I'm hoping he won't tear my flesh from my bones using nothing but his intelligence, but it is something his community was worried about with the things he was posting on Instagram, and the one that I keep seeing pop up is this picture. Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry tried to gaslight me that I needed medication too, when all you need is some discipline of your emotional state. That didn't age super well. I don't think the emotional state was controlled optimally. Now, his community was saying that what he was holding was olanzapine, which is apparently used to treat either bipolar disorder or symptoms of schizophrenia. And people are saying that him being off of this medication is most likely the cause for the concerning posts and the spiral that he seems to have been in on Instagram. And while, of course, I'm no expert here, I would say that it does probably play a role in everything that has happened recently with him, as well as his behavior in the court at the hearing there. That kind of stuff is always pretty sad to me, where someone has medication for a very serious thing like that, and then they decide to stop, and then things just fucking spiral out of control for them. But anyway, very wild story here that I just wanted to talk about briefly. That's really about it. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with the stuff that might get us in trouble in Germany. Just real quick warning here. So, you know, Johnny at first was kind of being a relatively good streamer, but there was a distinctive point at which the night kind of took a turn, right? The night kind of took a turn, and that happened when he went to a restaurant, which is actually a really good restaurant. It's kind of a good hangover food in Korea. All Westerners like it. Almost all Westerners like it, and you're gonna be able to tell real quick. You know, when a night goes downhill, it kind of starts like this. This is how nights go downhill.
Berto sent $10.
I think we can kind of you know, picking up on the bars of the most important marching, the most popular marching song in World War II. Yeah, that happened. Which by the way, by itself has no political content. But certainly Johnny is just playing this because he likes music, right? Certainly he's just playing this because he likes music, right? Right? Yeah, I'm not going to show all of this or play all of this, but that's how kind of that started, and it ended with him copying his buddy Hank over here, and doing a little bit of a Roman salute. Yeah. Which, by the way, that's Hank back in the U.S. He was big into that. So the question is, who did it better? Was it Johnny or Hank? Really? Was it Johnny or Hank? So that's how the night started. So you know it's going to be a hell of a night when that's kind of how the night starts. So this is Johnny's big night out. Now he starts his big night out with another man who is not Hank. I know. So here they are. And the one thing that I heard from everybody who was watching him is that in the beginning of the stream last night, he was being relatively a good boy, but things went downhill quickly. So we'll go and play this.
What do you like better? Teach me. You Korean. Tell me the way. Maybe Korean. Somek. Yeah, Somek. Let's do it. Somek, let's go.
That is the beginning of the end.
Yeah, that's a good clip.
You know, song police hate me. Yes, I know. I'm on throwing up. These Koreans can't handle Somalis. Take the gun outside. Stop playing. Take the gun outside and stop. Take. Take the gun. So what? Statue? Oh, yeah. Where is
So apparently, and this is one thing, apparently he did threaten to go back to the statue. Now, once again, it's very interesting. There's no charges related to the statue. Everybody's very mad about the statue, but there's actually no charges about the statue at all. It's all other behavior. It's not just the statue. So this is their reaction to what he did as a person, but this is not at all the crime. Like, this is not something that's been charged at all. But he's threatened on the stream. In fact, last night he said he was going to go back to the statue. He was talking about it repeatedly.
Where is the content at 6:30 in the morning? Tell me.
So he's been up. So he stayed up. Look at how high he is here. This is definitely multiple substances. So he stayed up drinking and possibly doing pills all night. So the sun is up now. It's 6:37 in the morning.
He didn't go home. Oh my God. Question. I want to ask you a question. Talk to me. What have you been? Relax.
This is bad. You know, it's once again like you're harassing an elderly person, right? And you're blocking their way. Once again, this is another crime. It's like blocking someone from where you're going. The guy's trying to walk and trying to get around him, and he's constantly moving to block him. Right? It's really behavior. And once again, this is criminal. Like, this is a crime right here. Boom.
I'm a very nice guy. I'm sorry, I'm black. I'm very nice, you know? I just want to get chicken, I go. Fast. Don't call the police. Oh, there. Let me down. Hello, somebody call you? You need Johnny Somali? Come on, leave him, buddy. Come on, leave. Johnny Somali.
They called it. He knew. The cop knew right away that it was Johnny Somali. And they were probably there. Watching him and seeing what he's doing and like following him around, right?
You know English?
My computer survived a freak out. I think we're still good.
No Hangul, only. It's okay?
So bad.
Oh, it's closed? Yo, what are you talking about? It's closed? What time? 8? 8 is closed? It's closed?
She should stay closed for another hour. She should stay closed for another hour just to keep that guy out of there. Oh, God. So bad.
8?
Why does he always start to scream?
Oh, no, we gotta go. You party?
So this is particularly disgusting.
He
So let me
thinks he's
explain
the
what's going
Joker,
on here.
man.
He is at the local Methodist church, right? So Koreans, in case you don't know, Koreans are the highest percentage of Christians in all of India, right? This is at the local Methodist church. These wreaths are likely left out for funerals for people who passed away, right? So he's going and f***ing around at the local church with what is probably, I need to take a better look at it, with essentially like funeral proceedings at a church. This is really fucked up, right? Really fucked up. And like, once again, I don't like to curse, and I don't normally curse. When things are really bad, like, it's appropriate. This like actually like really fundamentally bothers me, like on a deeper, like a very deep level. There's a lot of things bothering me, but this really bothers me, like high level bothers, right? Yeah, that's what's going on here. Yeah. So let's play this. This is you'll see.
I come to pray. How are you?
So there's see the cross there. There's the flowers, because typically you leave those out for funerals, you know, when people pass away.
I touch Jesus like you. No, I'm Jesus like you. No, me, I'm Jesus. I pray.
So he's in his face.
Let me do like you.
Cal Carr sent $5.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, that was. I think that was Erica playing again. But yeah. Really bad, really disgusting, really violent. Seriously, I mean, there's not even words. It's just really bad.
AOC and Bernie have been drawing big crowds, bigger than Donald Trump and bigger than they ever had. And I want to talk about what that means for the future of the Democrat.
Is this from the Comedians podcast? No, this is from Calacanis's and the Venture Capitalist Bros podcast.
All in.
They're gamblers.
Was this the podcast where they basically admitted to doing a pump and dump?
Yeah, with Solana, Jacob Silverman has a famous clip where they're like joking about, are you holding that or are you getting out from under it early in sort of pump and dump style fashion?
You can't say that on the live stream. Well, I guess under Trump you can.
I'm not familiar with these guys or this podcast. I recognize the comedian in there.
Well, comedian, I mean,
Schultz.
he's Rogan-verse guy who has parlayed that into a Netflix special, so he's promoting it on,
Was he originally an MTV guy too?
I feel like I actually think I saw him at the Comedy Cellar one time. But
all right, sorry.
Regardless.
I've never thought he was funny, but he's a comedian, yeah.
This is like, it's fascinating. And I think the guy is, he seems like a smart guy to me on some level. I saw like a podcast, I think it was his, where he was talking about the Theocrat, the exchange on Jubilee with the Theocrat that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody sent me that, but they weren't really addressing what we were talking about, and they apparently didn't see what the premise of the thing was, which is when I was arguing, if you're a theocrat, you're going to be happy about Donald Trump. I don't care about arguing the morality, the philosophical basis of my morality.
Haven't you read Foucault, sir?
I don't know what deontological means. At the end of the day, tell me what your policies are going to be, and if it involves women can't vote, I'm going to, regardless of the complete lack of the philosophical basis for my morality, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to depart in that moment.
Soy boy.
The point is in this is that these guys offer something which on its face sounds enticing. And without knowing the history of this proposal, this is what George W. Bush tried to do in 2005, without understanding the reasons why we have Social Security and what it's supposed to provide for our retirement, you can get sucked into this. So I want to go over this so you understand why this is such a bad idea.
And regardless if the concept is good or not, the emotional connectivity to the success of American industry is really important. When you know at 22 that you could get this thing that's been compounding for 22 years.
All right, pause it for a second. Now, they're talking about retirement funds. Now, here's what we know. Prior to the 80s, most pensions were guaranteed benefit. That is as opposed to guaranteed contribution. Guaranteed benefit means that when you're 21, or whatever age you are, 18 or 24, you get a job, and they tell you part of your compensation package is that when you retire, 20 years, 25 years from now, you're going to get X dollars a month. $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, whatever it is deferred compensation for you. Guaranteed, though, $2,000 a month. You can count on that. That is traditionally been one element of the three-legged stool that will provide for you in retirement. The other is just savings that you might have or assets. Maybe you bought a house and you sell it, you downsize, you take money from that. And the third is social insurance which anchors it, and that is Social Security. That was the plan for Social Security. One leg of a three-legged stool, and it was the most secure one. In fact, so much so that they call it Social Security. In the 80s, because people didn't want to fund these pensions, they turned them into defined contribution. In other words, the amount of money that you pay in, that's defined. But the amount of money you get out, well, we're going to put it into the gambling thing.
We're going to put it, leave it to the whims of the market.
To the market.
As opposed to being just a traditional defined benefit pension plan.
And they promoted things called 401ks.
Yep.
And if you Google the words, the failure of the 401k experiment, you will see that people, for better or for worse, left to their own devices, underfund their 401ks, pull money out of their 401ks. We are on the verge of a retirement crisis because of this. These are just starting to hit. People have been counting on these 401ks to hit retirement. 5 minutes of research will tell you what everybody on Wall Street knows. These things, they've enriched Wall Street people because somebody's going to manage them. Yep. Somebody's getting fees. But they have not provided for people's other legs of retirement. But they are thinking, what if instead of taking Social Security and investing it in treasuries like our government does, which is basically investing in the financial soundness of the most widely used currency in the world, the U.S. dollar. What if we took all that money and put it into the stock market where we're going to get much higher returns? Listen to how they talk about it.
You get this thing that's been compounding for 22 years. You could pay off some college loans. You could put something down on a house. You could pay for trade school, whatever it is. I think you have a different energy towards America and its success. And then you have a lot less of these kids who are just like, America's this horrible place and capitalism is bad. Yeah, capitalism is bad when you're left behind. When you're investing in capitalism, it's
okay, I'm sorry. This is actually perfect to pull up that chart just really quickly from FT. This is from Gallup data that's been aggregated from, it's a very small sample size of 70,000 people, according to the Financial Times. Views of young people in the United States on aspects of politics and society have deteriorated, and it's unfortunate Financial Times doesn't do the greatest y-axis, but it's all starting at 2010 to 2024. The respondents are aged 15 to 29 years old, and it's a rolling 3 survey average. And you can see confidence in the judicial system tanked since 2010. Good affordable housing in the city. This is extremely material and borne out by data. Housing prices are as high as they've ever been, and they're a part of the cost of living crisis we're living in right now. Confidence in the national government plummeted. I mean, this is also Trump's dynamic.
All this stuff basically starts around when Trump gets in office.
I mean, true, but experiencing stress. Some of this is cell phones and anxiety. But the point is that it is the lack of recovery still from the financial crisis, and now they're putting more money into crypto and sports betting. These young men that these guys are speaking to, trying to sell them the promise that they're saying, as opposed to building up our social programs like Social Security.
Well, here is Schultz's argument: is that you would get people to invest. If you get them to literally invest in America, it would raise those that polling. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in response to that. He's making this argument.
Yeah, if everyone could get money for nothing, that would be great.
I will also tell you that George W. Bush had a concept of ownership society. This is all part and parcel, and it sounds sexy. If you have skin in the game in American industry, and you see the wonder of compounding interest, well, just play.
Absolutely. We're on the express train.
Let me give you guys, I did an analysis. I wasn't sure if I should put it out, but I'll tell you guys the numbers. The U.S. Social Security program is meant to be kind of the retirement program for folks that don't have access to private retirement accounts, okay?
Pause it. That is a lie. That is not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be one leg of a three-legged stool. It is supposed to be the anchor, the guarantee that you don't live in poverty. That's it. It's not to make you a millionaire. It's not to make it so that you can, winter in the Bahamas. It is to make sure that you do not end up literally eating cat food in your retirement. It was introduced because we had almost 2/3 of our elderly living in poverty. So he's lying about what Social Security is supposed to do. And it's the premise of everything that follows, which sounds reasonable as long as you have a wrong premise.
And he's also implying it's not universal.
Good.
Okay. And this program was set up in the 1930s after the Great Depression. And there's a trust fund, the OASDI, which is the fund that they invest the capital. So every year we all put money in with our Social Security taxes out of our paychecks, goes in there, and it gets invested. You know what it gets invested in? It gets invested in one thing, U.S. Treasuries, which have averaged about 4.8% return since the beginning of the program per year. Meanwhile,
what if you put it into the market?
Meanwhile, the S&P has been averaging 11%. So here's the math. If in 1971, which was the year that we went off the gold standard in the United States, if we invested the Social Security Trust Fund in the S&P, the balance of the Social Security